Trading the foreign exchange market carries high risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Trading on margin, utilizing leverage can carry an even higher level of risk that can lead to a complete loss of investment funds. So before deciding to trade the foreign exchange market or using any of our software alert products, you should carefully and diligently consider your personal investment objectives, level of experience, and risk tolerance. There is a possibility that you could potentially sustain significant loss. You should not invest any capital or trade that you cannot afford to lose. It is your responsibility to be aware of and understand all risks associated with foreign exchange trading and to seek professional advice from an independent certified financial advisor if you have any doubts. Auvoria Prime does not exercise trading authority over your trades. You and you alone exercise discretionary trading authority over every trade.
So firsthand, I'm actually going to just pull up one of my own my FX books on my own Einstein. So before we get into this one pair data, right? This is an Einstein that I've been running for a year, and I just want to cover this because people are asking about it and talking about it and asking how to switch to GearBox. So you can see I had my highest drawdown this last few weeks with that product as well. I went from 43% growth to 24%, right? A huge hit in stop losses on Euro JPY and USD JPY. As I mentioned at the beginning of this call, JPY pairs and CHF pairs, they've been trending a lot more, especially the past few weeks. And that didn't play out well for many Einstein users. And this account's on super, super high volatility conservative settings. So I can imagine some people that are still using double sequences where it does sell and buy counters at the same time, or buy counter and the sell trend or buy trend, right? You basically have two levels go in the same direction, right? In Einstein, sometimes if you don't eliminate those, I don't have those and I still took a hit like this. So if people are using those, I can imagine, right? So the goal in informing you is, well, okay, well, how would GearBox have done in these situations? Well, let's talk about it, right? Let's take a look at the one pair data. So we know that Euro JPY and USD JPY were giving problems, so I want to take a look at that. It seems I don't have USD JPY connected to this my FX book. I do have it running, but I don't have it connected. But let's just take a look at Euro JPY, for example, as I know some people hit stops there. Well, on GearBox, it's crushing it, right? Waiting for that later entry. Obviously it's still only 76% win rate, could be a little higher, but overall it's doing good. And the point in showing you guys this is, well, we're waiting for those later entries. So what does that mean? It means, all right, if we go over here to Euro JPY, we're skipping gear 0, we're skipping gear 1, we're skipping gear 2, and if you're using Sniper, you're skipping 3. So this means you're skipping 4 potentially negative trades that could be in drawdown and hit stop losses to jump in here and here where you have a higher profitability, right? That's literally the difference. Now in Einstein, you also could have double trades where you could have had a sell gear 0 trend and then a sell counter level 0, right? So you could have actually potentially had 8 trades you got into before GearBox would have even gotten into 1. So that's why GearBox becomes a superior product in trending markets. I just wanted to cover that. I'm not going to talk too much more about that, but let me keep reading through the comments here. I see Hilar said 5% drawdown, 2.4% growth. Awesome. DD 8% profit, 6%. All CHF pairs had me spiraling a bit, Denville said. I can imagine. That's why I'm also excited for the feature that it's a ways out, because there needs to definitely be some testing, but the correlation feature where, we want to design it to where any pairs that are, more than 75% or so correlated together, right? Meaning that they tend to look the same for the most part, the charts. We want to make it to where you can never take a position going the same direction. So, let's just say, for example, we were looking at AJ and NZD JPY, right? These pairs are highly correlated. So if we went to NZD JPY and let's say we entered a sell, okay, AUD JPY can't enter a sell. It would continue to block any sell opportunities that happened and say, nope, already in a sell on NZD JPY. Now, if AJ went to buy, GearBox would allow that because it would be going the opposite direction of an already correlated pair. So that's something we want to add in. Again, that's a ways out, but that is, on the futures list, because especially the past 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I've seen it more and more. I said, wow, if we just had that extra feature, we could obviously be avoiding some more of the drawdown. Maybe you wouldn't make as much profit, but you also wouldn't get in much DD. So there's also a direct correlation between drawdown and profit sometimes with this product, meaning sometimes the larger drawdown can sometimes equal larger profit. Right. Philip Howard said not huge profit for the week, but still making money through the drawdown, patiently waiting for the swing. Martin says week has been messy. Haven't closed a trade this week. Yep, you might be in some older trades then. Tony Jones said, first week live on GearBox and done almost 4% today on just AUD CHF and Euro CHF. Awesome, Tony. That's incredible. Jesus said made 1,200 this week on Swing GearBox. Tony said his 4% he made with only 3.82% max drawdown too. Awesome. Ken, good morning. He said 2.8% profit. He's in about 20% drawdown, 19.5. He said CHF JPY, CAD JPY, Euro CAD, Swing double TP, also USD CHF. Yep, the CHF pairs and the JPY pairs, as I mentioned, they've been stringing. Amrit said, Tyler in Australia, I do have some questions. Amrit, I think you messaged me on, on either Messenger or Instagram too. I think I saw your message this morning. Saw you were also asking some questions about switching from Einstein. Adam said, DD 1% started this week. Pepper, yep, you said your higher drawdown last week was due to being in both the CHF pairs at the same time. Yeah, like I said, that's why, I know you guys are making a bunch of profit on the CHF pairs, but also my goal is always to keep people in lower drawdown, right? The goal is, hey, how do we increase drawdown, decrease potential for losses, and increase profit? Christopher Castillo said swing settings 3 max pairs, 19% drawdown right now. I take it you're probably in some CHF pairs. Luke said he set his max gears to be the same as the gear entry in order to take a stop loss if trade goes say negative. Luke, when I'm reading what you're saying here, you're doing something more advanced. But what I would tell you is the inputs are really designed the way they are. If you changed your max gears to be the same as the gear entry, that doesn't make sense with what you're trying to accomplish here. You said because the max gear. So I can explain this. Let me take a VPS out because this is a good thing. People should understand this stuff. So I'm just going to go ahead and connect to this VPS real quick and just show you guys what's going on. Now you will see that there is an update that you guys don't have yet. This is actually a brand new update going to go out today. It addresses some things, but also I want to show you guys the new manager room here. Before we do that, I'm going to address this question. So what Luke just said is he said that he was changing his max gears to match the entry, and that makes no sense. Okay, because first off, you're just blocking yourself. The reason for this is your max number of gears includes the gears in the Ghost server. So if you put 4 here and it enters, well, technically enters on 5. So you would be limiting yourself. It wouldn't even enter a trade. And so you want to leave this on 8 because let's say in this case you enter gear 5. Okay, you can only enter 5, 6, and 7, and that is 8. Why is that? Well, that's because 0 is 1. I'll give you a visual. 0 is 1, 1 is 2, 2 is 3, 3 is 4, 4 is 5. So when you put max gears at 8, you can go to level 7. But if you're not entering until a 5, you're only allowing yourself to enter 5, 6, and 7. Now, if you put it at your actual gear entry, you're not allowing yourself to even enter a second cost average. You're just putting yourself in a position to lose money. So that's not a smart thing to do, Luke. So I'm glad we addressed that. So I would stick back to how it was designed. And, now that you understand how that works, I would understand that the ghost gears are included in the max gears. So that's why if you look at, for example, like a GBP pair, if we went to say GBP pair, I don't even know if we have any open on this account right now. No, there's none open right now on this account. Let me just open a GBP pair and, pull GearBox on here. And typically on a GBP pair, so I can show you guys real quick. Typically we're going to be looking at like 5 and 6 here. So entering 6 and 7. Okay, well, when understanding that means that your max gears needs to be more like 12, which is what it's programmed to do on GBP pairs. The reason for that is sometimes you're not entering until a 6 or you're not entering until a 7. Well, you need to be able to take those next cost averages if they're needed. Otherwise, you're just setting yourself up to get stuck in a trend and lose money. So, the cost averaging strategy is very important to getting out of a trend if it goes against you. Sheldon said, I'm in 10% DD right now, all in CHF pairs with 4 trading pairs. Should I ride it out? Yeah, well, Sheldon, what I'd ask you, and this is another thing I'd like to cover. Let's say, so this is a very important detail. I've been noticing it recently on some of my own personal accounts. Some pairs are set to max gears 8, right? Which means level 7. So you can go to your VPS and right click your trade tab here and go to comments. And then you're going to be able to sort by symbol. And what you'll see is you'll see the level. If you see a level 7 trade open and you're in a big drawdown on a level 7 trade, okay, chances are you should possibly increase your max gears by 1 or 2 to allow for it to take a next entry. So for example, let's say this AUD CHF was actually in a level 7 trade for me. Okay, well, I would come over here to the settings and I would go raise 8 to 9 or 10 to allow it to take another trade, because it's going to have a higher likelihood of also helping me get out of that trend. Now, you also have to remember, if your balance protection has been active, meaning you're in over 25% drawdown, it's not going to take a trade anyways unless you increase this. So that's what I would do in that scenario. If you're looking to take another trade on a pair, go manually increase your gear. And if your balance protection isn't active, it'll take it. If it is active, increase your balance protection, it'll take the trade. And that can sometimes get you out of a trend. So just go look at the comments on your trades. And that's a more of a manual feature. If, you know, one of those pairs does just go on a run and you get in a level 7 trade. And I saw that happen for some people with NZD USD, maybe USD CAD, a few others over the past few weeks. So that's always a good way to manually go in there and allow it to take that next trade so you can get out of a trend. Christopher Castillo said waiting for the swing. Charles Bollinger said in EuroCAD waiting for the swing. Awesome. Somebody said they want to share their MyFX book. That's great. I'll take that one down. I like MyFX books. Is there a way to see the ghost trades? Yeah, great question. If you want to see the ghost trade, go ahead, look here, and you can see the ghost trades right here. So you can see I'm in a ghost gear buy 4 on AUD USD. Right, we can see that right now. Now, you might be saying, well, isn't that near your entry anyways? Possibly so. I'd actually enter on a 5 before Wednesday, or after Wednesday, I'd be entering at 6 in this case on this pair, you know, with the settings that are on this specific account. And so it's getting close to an entry. But, you know, that's how you can see the actual gears. You can actually see it right there on your display on each pair, exactly what gear it's in. Now, I also get some questions where people say, oh, I was on a buy 4 and now it says 0 and 1 again. What happened? Well, that means that in the ghost server, it retraced and it got out of your trade and started a new sequence, right? A lot of people like, it cleared my ghost trades. Well, no, it didn't clear your ghost trades. The trade finished and it didn't get to your entry. If we put 100 on the weekly goal, means I do not have a weekly goal. Mark, it means you have 100% weekly goal. You do have a weekly goal, it's just 100%. And it's trailing by 50. That's the default setting. You might ask, why is that the default? Well, this way it doesn't take you out of the game unless you choose to be taken out of the game, in which case you can choose your weekly goals and change them. And you have your trailing weekly goal or your fixed weekly goal. If you don't understand the difference between the two, it's a simple example. Let's say I put 3% here and trail by 1%. Okay, what this means is if I hit 3% profit on the week, it's going to start trailing by 1%, meaning if all of a sudden the market retraced and I was only at 2% weekly floating, it would close it out and I would secure 2%. Now, let's say this went up to 5% and then went backwards, it would secure 4% because it's trailing by 1%, if that makes sense. Or if you just do a fixed weekly goal, then again, you can just put your fixed weekly goal in here and it'll only read that. But yeah, that's how that works. Can you please, Tony, these are, it applies to the whole account, but the problem is you should always make sure they all match. Definitely make sure all the weekly goal and trailing buffers match, because, you know, sometimes it can cause issues if they don't match, where one's closing trades and one's reopening trades because it doesn't think it's the same. So it's not prepare, it operates on the whole account, but if you have charts that mismatch, this actually can be dangerous. So please make sure your weekly goal and trailing buffer always match on every single chart. Deshaun, does GearBox work with gold? GearBox can work on any currency, but we do not have it programmed with the manager to work on anything but the FX pairs currently. So if you wanted to use it on gold, you want to use it on indices, that is custom settings you would need to figure out what works, right? The drag and drop settings are not going to work on gold. You're going to lose all your money. So I'll just put that out there right now. So I do want to show you guys some updates and some exciting things. Here's the new manager. So I know a lot of people have been asking about the new manager, instant entry mode. This runs like Einstein, right? It's there for the people that still want to continue to use the Einstein strategy. But as we covered in the beginning of the call, that strategy can be great until it's not great, right? Which is why we designed GearBox, right? We'll just cover this again for anybody who knew who's covered the call. Here's my high volatility settings Einstein doing its thing. Back here, when I took these losses, these were 250 pip stop losses, okay? I raised them at this point after this to 500 pips, all right? This is 500 pip stop losses, Euro JPY and USD JPY. They still just went trending like crazy. So because of that, that's again why we started using GearBox, because you can skip those levels of drawdown, right? Where you're skipping, you know, if you're using sniper, you're entering here on 4, you're skipping 1, 2, 3, 4. And if you're using double trades, you're skipping between probably 6 to 8 potentially negative trades you could have lost money on, right? On those pairs. So, you know, you're just getting a much more precise opportunity to make money with less downside potential and risk. You know, so just wanted to cover that. But yeah, so I want to go back to the new manager. So yes, instant entry. This can work just like Einstein. Now there's this new setting called skip a level. All right, this is only skipping level 0. This strategy I designed for smaller accounts, right? You're going to be able to scan 6 pairs. We're going to choose 6 of these pairs that don't trend often, that are typically ranging pairs. And weekly, I'm going to have a separate call. So this is my Friday call. Friday calls, I'm going to cover precision modes, swing, sniper, and super sniper. By the end of this weekend, you'll have a date for when I'm going to do my intraday mode calls. I'm still going to run an account like Einstein and show when it fails and when it does great. But skip a level, like I said, we're going to be scanning 6 pairs with skip a level that are typically ranging and not trending. And we're going to only allow 3 max to take trades at the same time. If you're using $500, probably 1 or 2. But I do want to show you, we've had a user. I came up with this strategy, and you know, I said, let me see if I can find it here. Here it is. I asked him. I said, hey, let's test this thing out. He chose 6 pairs that he felt, you know, didn't trend as much, which unfortunately USD JPY and Euro JPY were in his original list, and they apparently have trended, as we know. But the point is, you know, even with that, this account has done 30% in a little over a month on a $500 account. Now it is running 3 pairs at once, scanning 6, a little more aggressive than I would run this $500 account. But the point is, it pretty much made its monthly back. So this is a new strategy, and the intraday calls will come. They will be a separate call. They will not be the same as Fridays. Friday is always going to be focused on swing, sniper, and super sniper, my precision modes. But we will add intraday mode calls too. Now, ready for the next exciting part? Look at this. Do you guys see this? This is the manager. This isn't GearBox. Is anybody excited about what they're seeing on the screen? Give me a 777 if you're realizing that all of the manager settings, all GearBox settings are now built into the manager. People have been asking for this. So I have to do a lot more testing today on this. I want to roll this out today, but I cannot make any promises. But I will tell you, my goal is to hopefully get this out to you guys today. But I do need to do some heavy testing, and I'm going to be leaning on some of our quality assurance testers too to help me test the new manager and make sure everything works properly and applies to all charts. Now, there's a few rules to this. All right. Your max number of gears and your gears above settings. If you change these, it's not going to apply them because you're still using a template. So what I mean by this is I actually have to add another button to the manager that's going to say custom. It's going to say custom here, meaning that if you change your max gears or your gears above, you can hit custom and it'll apply those. Because right now, even if I change these, it doesn't matter, because when I use a template, it's going to automatically apply these based on the template strategy you chose. Now, every other setting in here will apply as you want it to. Just these 3 settings will apply based on the template that you chose by default. but I am adding another button to the manager that'll say custom strategy, in which case you will be able to also change your max number of gears and your gears above. If say you want to do something extremely custom and change these outside of the formatted ones that are chosen for each strategy here. If you were just going to run, say, GBP pairs and said, hey, I want to enter them all on a gear 4, right? You could go do that. So we're just going to add that custom button. That's one of the next things to come. But that is the manager. So I'm, you know, I'm glad that you, you know, have that. So I see some people asking, what's the equivalent of double sniper TP in the new manager? Awesome question, Jacob. So you would just choose sniper, and then you would come in here and set your take profits based on real trades double TP. And that's the same thing now. So we cleaned up the look of the manager and we put everything behind the scenes. Now this is a lot. This was a lot of work to get done. I can tell you that right now. And I need to do a lot of testing today before I roll it out to all of you guys. I'm going to probably spend the next few hours just testing this manager on numerous different VPSs and making sure everything applies correctly. So you can see what I'm in for once we get off this call. But you know, I know that this is a very exciting part because this is where it makes it so much easier for you to set up your gearboxes, change your custom settings, you know, choose whether you want to delete ghost trades at the start of the week or not. All these things. People have been asking me for this for a long time, and we're glad it's here now. So I'm excited to get it now. I've been neglecting the Q&A. I've been in the comments box, so let me get in the Q&A real quick. Alan Mittman, I see your results in the Q&A. Awesome. He said Gearbox swing, 4.7% profit, 3.4% drawdown. Charles Bollinger, would you recommend that if Gearbox enters a buy trade and it begins to swing up almost immediately, reaching over half the pips before close, does it make sense to close early or just let Gearbox do its thing? That's all personal preference, Charles. If you're happy with the profit when it's already halfway, close it. Absolutely. Right? There's nothing wrong in trading with securing your profits. Practic, hi Tyler, just joined the call. Will you be increasing gear entries for CHF pairs? In the current manager that you see right here, they are the same as they are on this chart. Now, will I be increasing them? Probably in the next iteration of the manager. Yes. And that's the other beautiful thing about the manager. If I ever need to make changes to entries, I don't have to go tell you guys, hey, increase your gears on this pair, this pair, this pair, right? Because that's too much hands-on for a brand new person. All I got to do is go change some inputs in the manager. You just go hit a button again and you get the new settings, right? So the manager is a blessing for making updates to strategies, because as you know, strategies are ever advancing and the markets are ever changing. And that's why Gearbox is a product that will last through multiple market conditions, because it's adaptable to any single market. Whereas there's EAs that work great in ranging markets that fail in trending markets, like you know, what we saw the past week or two with some Einstein accounts, right? Markets start trending and Einstein's just not designed for long trends. You know, but Gearbox can work in trends. It can work in ranging. It can work in really any market condition. If you know, some of these pairs, let's say GBP and ZD started moving 3,000 pips at with no retracement, and Euro USD started moving like 1,000 pips with no retracement. Awesome. We're going to bump up all our Gearbox entries. We're going on gear 9, right? You know, we're moving things up and we're adaptable to any market condition, no matter what happens with Gearbox. So Gearbox is, you know, the ultimate choice to adapt to an ever-changing market. Keep reading here. Does Gearbox close unprofitable trades due to DD limit or any similar settings? Jacob, the only way a trade will close in Gearbox is if it hits its stop loss of 500 pips, or you have an equity protector that closes you out. That's the only way Gearbox will ever close a trade in a loss, is your stop loss or your hard equity protector on your entire account. Other than that, Gearbox doesn't close losses. Well, let me phrase that. Gearbox can close a trade in a loss if there are other trades below it on the same currency pair to balance it out in profit. But Gearbox will not just close a single trade in a loss by itself, unless it hits a stop loss or you get taken out by your hard stop loss equity protector, your max equity risk, right? With the ghost trades reset on the weekend, is it recommended not enter new trades on Friday? I'm on MAV version, Andy. Andy, that's all personal preference. You know, some people choose not to take new trades on Friday, but being it's NFP, chances are a new trade might be a great opportunity, because, you know, that could just be news sending the market 100, 200 pips in one direction, and you get a sniper entry and, you know, get to capitalize on it. So it really depends on the Friday, right? You know, and it's all personal preference. I'll tell you firsthand, I just let my thing run. I'll enter trades. Now, the more conservative thing always is not to hold trades over the weekend. So if you're an extra conservative person, definitely don't enter new trades on Friday, right? You know, that's just a conservative strategy for any, you know, conservative trader. Anonymous attendee, do you have metrics on the medium and range of trade durations? I've had trades in for 2 weeks. Is that expected? Great question. Let's talk about it. So we're gonna get out of this Einstein account because Einstein is not our friend this week, right? All right, let's get into some GearBox. So we can choose any currency pair, right? You know, somebody said they've been in some pairs for a little or some trades for a while, getting stuck in them, and let's just, you know, choose one that has a higher drawdown in this little $500 account. Let's NZDJPY is a good one as well. 80 CHF for recently, but you know, average hold time 5 days on this account. Okay, that sounds about right. Now let's go to say some of these 25 pair accounts. Let's take this 10K swing, and average hold time 8 days. All right. So yes, GearBox is a more long-term strategy. There's definitely times you'll get in and out of trades in one day. That's great. But you have to remember the way that GearBox trades is it's looking for larger moves in the market. Its average win here is 65 pips. Most EA's average win's like 10 pips, right? We're really looking to capitalize on larger moves in the market. And because of that, you know, sometimes you could be in trades for a little while as that move plays out. It's a more institutional strategy. It's more designed for a swing trading strategy. So people who understand swing trading understand that there's swing traders that hold trades for 90 days sometimes. Now, obviously, that's not the goal with GearBox ever. And we're constantly working on enhancements to keep you in trades for a shorter period of time. More and more of the different things that I'm developing and adding as new features over the coming, you know, course of the next 90 days for GearBox is really going to continue to enhance a lot of these things. My focus is always less drawdown, more profit, less holding trades, right? You know, we don't want to hold them as long. So those are the three things I focus on. How can we hold trades for a shorter period? How can we get into less drawdown? How can we increase our profit potential without increasing risk, right? Right. A lot of people, when you increase your profit, you increase your risk, and that's not the right case. When we increase our profit here, we want to decrease our risk. That may not make sense to some people because that doesn't generally make sense, but this is algo trading and there's tons of ways to do it. So Hilar said, what about adding Euro NZD, Euro GBP, and Euro CHF to the list? I've traded it since January. So far, it's running great, Euro NZD. Hilar, I mean, you can trade those ones. You know, this is just ones that we had originally gathered data on when we started. I am going to start, you know, more accounts in some of these other FX pairs, some of the other majors and minors, different things. I mean, all the majors I'm running, but the other minors, I am going to set up some accounts and some more pairs and start collecting more data. But for now, I've really just been perfecting the product and what we already have before adding more to the plate, if that makes sense. But as I continue to get GearBox in a place where I think it's such an unstoppable product, yeah, we're going to start playing with every other currency pair out there, right? Not cryptos, of course, because crypto doesn't have any real fundamental right now. But, you know, stocks, US 30, indices, metals, all these things can be played with, but, you know, we're just not doing it yet because we're still perfecting everything. But let me tell you, when we get there, which is not that far out, I believe that we can get GearBox to work on really any currency pair there is, and we're going to continue to get there. But just know for now, we've been just focusing on really these FX pairs, and some of the other ones are programmed in. Like if you were to open Euro GBP, the GBP settings are programmed in for any GBP pair. If there's a pair and it says GBP, it's getting GBP settings, right? That's already programmed in. Now, I can't say the same about Euro CHF. I do not know if Euro CHF is, actually it is, it's on this list already. So I saw you asked about that. That is already on the list. So that one's programmed. Amrit, my questions are minimum leverage for GearBox. Should I delete ghost trades over the weekend? Canada team's progress. Awesome. Well, Canada team doesn't have a bunch of public FX books. I need to get those. And again, all they were really doing was just decreasing the range a little bit and range multiplier. It's a higher risk thing. Obviously, some of these normal conservative accounts have gotten in higher drawdown the past 2 weeks, which means anytime you're going to decrease a range and decrease a range multiplier and increase a position size multiplier, this does give potential for more drawdown, right? You're increasing your risk, but you also could be increasing your profit. As for minimum leverage for GearBox, the 1 in 100 you could do it with, but I would stick to a 0.01 per 3,000 balance if you were going to do 1 in 100 leverage. If you can get 1 in 500 leverage, 0.01 per thousand all day long. But the lower the leverage, the more conservative I'd always be in the lot size and the rule of thumb. As for should you delete ghost trades over the weekend, this is personal preference. I'm going to tell you why I delete ghost trades over the weekend. The reason that I made this feature and added it to delete ghost trades at the start of the week is there's times that some pairs just end up, trending for a long time, weeks and weeks and weeks at a time. And they naturally are going to hit your entry. You're going to get more trades. Now, here's the possible dilemma in that. All right, if you were freshly deleting them at the start of every week, you're really making it to where you're going to get a more precise entry because it's going to be a burst that happens in that week, not a long period of trending up that happens over, 3, 4, 5 weeks. Because if you don't delete them, you could have a trade potentially for 3, 4 weeks that's just riding around in the ghost server and eventually hits your level and then goes and trends another 500 pips, right? If that makes sense. So for me, I'm a big fan of deleting them just because it's guaranteeing you the most accurate possible reading on the market and accuracy. Now, obviously, not deleting them will get you a lot more trades. So it's all personal preference, but again, it could also create more risk. I set up my friend's account over the weekend. He did not get many trades, but I did. Mine is a week older. That really shouldn't have much to do with anything, being yours is older. Really the big thing is just the tick on the market, and I would just go back and look at his account. You said he didn't get in many trades. So if he got in trades and yours got in more, yours could potentially have gotten more because of different cost averages too. Does it matter what time frame we have the charts on? Tony, yes, absolutely, it does matter. It super matters what time frame you have the charts on. If you're running the daily, this is going to be the most accurate read on the market for this software. If you're using a H4, you're going to get more trades. You're more likely to play both sides of the market. And H1 is definitely on the more aggressive side as you're getting a much lower read on the market. So, higher time frame typically the better. So daily is pretty normal, conservative. I'd say 4 hour, you're playing more in a moderate territory. And if you're playing the 1 hour and you're playing it on all the pairs, that's a more aggressive strategy. Now, if you're playing the 1 hour and you're only playing a few pairs, right? I have an account, for example, that I run the 1 hour on, but I'm only running GBP pairs. I would still consider it a conservative strategy just because I'm not running all the pairs, right? So, it all depends. But yeah, that's my read on timeframes. Somebody said, what do you mean by small accounts and what amount is that? I'm not sure what you're referring to, but anything under $1,000, you should use 2 max pairs trading at the same time. If you're using 3 max pairs trading at the same time and you have anything under $1,000, you're just kind of asking to lose money in any crazy market conditions. Just going to put that on the table. If I turned off auto trading, that won't prevent current open trades from closing, correct? No, it will not. So the key is, though, I would not ever turn off auto trading. What I would do if you don't want to take new trades is simply just go ahead and activate your balance protection. Maybe you're trying to turn off auto trading, you're only in 10% drawdown. I wouldn't even do that if that's the case. But balance protection essentially does the same thing, but balance protection continues to monitor your account, or when you pause auto trading, there's nothing else going on. Or when balance protection goes active, it's still going to continue to, monitor, modify, and do whatever it needs to do. So, you can always force activate your balance protection if, you're just not comfortable with the drawdown. Now, if you're not even in 25% drawdown, then I don't think there's a reason for you to turn off auto trading right now, unless you're just a super conservative user and, 10% might scare you a little bit. And if it does, maybe decrease your lot size, right? Because you see the possibilities with the settings you're running. Okay, great question. Christopher Castillo said, on GearBox map, if I get 5 trade requests, will they enter the market in the order I accept the trade, even the trades that did not enter right away? For example, I'm in 3 max pairs. I received 5 requests for future trades, but want them to enter in the market in specific order. Is that possible? Actually, that is possible. It puts them in a queue. So when you approve them, it's going to put them in a queue. And when one of your max 3 closes and you only have 2 open, it's going to go look at the next request that was approved, and it's going to make sure the trade's still valid. And if the software and the API line up and says this trade is still valid, it's going to take it. Now, there's also times where you might approve a trade and your max pairs finishes and that trade doesn't enter, and that's because the trade isn't valid anymore. But it would enter in that specific order, yes, based on how you approve them. I'm trying to. Zan said, hey, Tyler, I'm planning to lessen the amount of pairs, but can't seem to delete them in MT4. How do you do that? Zan, I'm not sure I understand your question. All you got to do to run less pairs is just hit X on the chart like this. Hit close, 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 close. Right? I'm not sure I understand your question. What settings would you run if you had a 500 euro account and wanted to run conservative? I can't recommend anything, but personally, I'd probably use a sniper strategy and 2 max pairs trading, which I do have one of those running myself. I'm gonna tell you, it's very conservative. It doesn't make the monthly back, but it does its thing. It's been running for a while. Running only a 21% drawdown, not bad. Super low risk. Now, maybe show you a user who's been running theirs as well. Let's see if I have these here. I think I saw it right here. So here's one of our customers, Amy. She's got a $500 balance in here. Initially, she started with $714. She's withdrawn $750. This account's made $549 profit, so it's up 119% now. This started with a small account, been running since September. You can see it's doing about 15% a month, getting close to making a monthly, right? But again, when you have small money, you can't expect to make the monthly necessarily back. Possibly, you might, but running a conservative strategy, you're more likely going to look at something like this where it gets pretty close. But at the same time, really with less than $1,000, it's more to just show you it works. So yes, GearBox works on $250. Yeah, it works on $500. Can I promise you they're never going to blow? No, absolutely not. You have such a little amount of equity, but we have designed strategies that, as you can see, have gone through major market conditions, including the past 2 weeks, right? And they're crushing it. So, just to show you firsthand, and this is a great profit factor. If I change delete ghost trades on one pair, does it change on all of them? Amrit, no, if you change something on one pair, it's not going to change on all of them. That's why I have this amazing manager here that I've been showing you guys, where now you're going to have the ability to apply all those custom settings as you want, right? So super cool. And I'm hoping, again, to get this out to you guys today. I'm not making any promises because I don't want you to all come shoot me if I don't get it out to you guys today, because everyone will have pitchforks and where's my manager, right? But my goal is to have this out to you guys today. So I'm going to do a lot of testing. Matt Jazz, I think I covered your question when I first showed the new manager settings, but I'll cover it again. These are going to be used, the gears above and the max number of gears. These do not apply even if you change them, if you hit one of these buttons, because it's going to apply the settings for the strategy. Why these are here is I'm going to be adding another button here that says custom, and it'll say use strategy, and custom will apply whatever you put in here and here. But by default, it's going to ignore what's inputted here, and it's going to ignore the numbers inputted here by default when using any of the already designed strategies. So just to recover that. Everything else, though, will apply as changed when you use a strategy. Just those 3 things, right? These 3 things right here just will stick to whatever the templated settings were already pre-chosen in on these strategies. But I will add the custom one soon. And I'm probably going to add a note here up top that says max gears and only gears above do not apply when using intraday or precision, only custom. I will add that note in there and send that off to my programming team so that we can make sure that is super clear. My laptop is running out of juice. You are right, Andy. I do probably should go get a charger. Well, we'll wait few more percent here. I'm trying to see if there's anything else super important I missed in here. I see somebody ask, can I explain the take profit settings and the risk factors with each? Just want to understand it better. Super simple, the take profit settings. Real trades only is going to go for 30 pips. Real trades double TP is going to go for 60 pips. And Ghost plus real trades is based on, oh, where did my beautiful little chart go? Hold on. Let me stop sharing screen and find my pretty little screenshot here. There it is. Perfect. All righty. Oh, no, I got to charge it. All right, give me guys 30 seconds to grab my charger. All righty, let this guy in. Perfect. All right, so what I was showing you guys here, what were we? We were asking about take profits in. So Ghost plus real trades take profit. To help explain it, let's say you entered a level 5 trade. Well, it's going to calculate your take profit on Ghost plus real as if you were in level 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and it needed to balance all of these out to make a profit. So even though you don't have the drawdown from these, it's going to calculate your take profit on this trade as if you did have this drawdown on your account. So Ghost plus real is typically going to go for larger take profits when using precision modes. In intraday modes, it is possible that Ghost plus real goes for less profit than double TP. But in precision modes, Ghost trades plus real trades is always going to be the most profitable. All righty, let me get back in here. All right. If I change the values in GearBox Manager, will then not delete Ghost trades anymore? No, if you are, Matt Jazz, if you're trying to change settings midweek, anytime you reload this EA on a chart, meaning you change a setting, you change anything, it is going to delete Ghost trades. So when you set your settings for the week, you want to set them right so that you don't have to touch them until next week. Because anytime you try and make a modification midweek, you're shooting yourself in the foot, right? Let the Ghost trades do what the Ghost trades do. Set your settings and strategy for the week and be comfortable with it, and come back next week. All right, I don't see any more questions here, so I'm going to go ahead and get right into this and show you guys Forex Factory for the week. And we are going to talk about the upcoming week, what is going on, any big news, any important updates. So let's go ahead here and select from Sunday to Saturday. Somebody said they asked a question in the Q&A section. Samira, I don't see, can you show the pairs on that FX book? Is that it? Okay. Yeah, the one pair of my FX books, I can show those again. So this week, Monday, we got some GBP, Governor Bailey speaks. AUD, we got Gov Lao speaks. Wednesday, we got some red folders here. We got some USD, CPI, CAD red folders, bank rate statements, okay, VOC rate, main refinancing rates and monetary policy for euro, and unemployment change and employment change for CAD. So it looks like we got some red folders on the CAD pairs, the euro pairs, and USD this week, and GBP. So, you know, AUD too. So it's a pretty good week of red folders. What does red folders typically mean for GearBox? Typically, it's a good thing because GearBox gets entries. Red folders for most strategies tend to not be a great thing, but for GearBox, I'm a big fan of red folder news. Just when there's a lot of red folder news like this, I tend to be a little more conservative. I decrease my max pairs. I might decrease my lot size. I those are typically my rules and principles. And I typically am going to avoid swing strategies on weeks like this week with NFP, but some people are still crushing it with swing. It's just, for a conservative user, I always tell people if it looks like it's a volatile week, it's sometimes better to go to sniper, bump your entries up, right? You're not doing any harm. You're just getting a better entry. But again, some people love swing, and I have seen that sometimes swing becomes more profitable than the sniper because it's getting it's taking its entry here, and then that second cost average, which is making the profit, is the sniper entry. Whereas the sniper entry would have the initial here and the second cost average that makes all the profit be the super. So I have seen people like swing, it does make great profit, but again, you just got to decrease your risk, right? Maybe decrease your max pairs for this upcoming week due to the news, right? I'm a big fan of 3 to 4 max pairs on most volatile weeks. And if the week looks free and clear, yeah, sure, 5 and 6 max pairs if you're a risk taker. But that's typically how I would manage this strategy, and keep rocking everything. As for the one pair of my FX books, I will show those real quick before we finish up this call. Let me go back over here to our one pair FX books. So, we talked about it. Yes, I'm going to increase my entry on AUD CHF. Absolutely. Again, I increase entries anytime something goes over 25% drawdown. So Euro AUD, we're going to increase the entries, especially. In fact, Euro AUD went on a big trend, and this account was up 36%, and it took a toast here on Euro AUD, as you can see. So what does that tell me? Yes, that tells me that, yeah, we should increase Euro AUD entry, even though maybe it's doing great for you now. Maybe you haven't taken a loss. Data suggests that we should increase the entry. It went over 25% drawdown, and it hit some stop losses. So because of that, we're most likely going to bump up Euro AUD by at least 1 entry, bump it up to the same GBP NZD entry level. AUD CHF, we're going to probably bump it up at least 2 entries. CAD JPY, we're bumping up at least 1. Euro CHF, we're bumping up 1. Euro JPY, we had already increased once. So that one's already done. And other than that, NZD CHF, yep, it hit 25%. So anytime these hit over 25%, we're going to bump them up. If they go to 50, we're going to bump them up too. So yeah, in the next manager update, these will not be raised, but in the manager update after that, these will be raised. That will be in the next iteration of the managers. We're going to bump up entries in some of those pairs because the data suggests that if a little $500 account gets in that much drawdown, nope, just running one pair, we're going to have to increase the entry. So again, we're always adding stuff. Christopher Castillo, go ahead and, I'm reading your question, but it's a little more advanced for me to answer on a call right now. Just go ahead and put a support ticket in with a screenshot so I can go investigate it. But other than that, it looks like that is all the questions. I see Brent says he can't wait for the enter now button. That'll be a really cool feature when we add it. For those people who didn't know what the enter now button is, it's essentially going to just be on your GearBox manager. And, oftentimes you might see GBP CAD is in a buy 5 trade, and you typically don't enter till a 6, and you might just be impatient and go, I want to enter it now. And we're going to have an enter now button to where you could just, if you see a pair is near your entry and, you just don't want to wait for it to precisely hit that level, you could take the trade. So that's another future feature coming. We're working on that. But yeah, I'm so glad you guys tune into these calls every week, and you're learning. I see a lot of great feedback from people in the chats about how valuable these calls are. So I appreciate y'all taking your time every Friday to be here with me and to learn and dig into this knowledge, because as I mentioned, GearBox is only going to continue to adapt to the markets and become the best product out there. And I look forward to continue to deliver that for you all. And I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your weekend, and look forward to another amazing trading week ahead.